Hi Leo, welcome to your 2017 Astrological Forecast. So, what do we have for you? One big standout is that for the whole year, practically, until the very end of the year, you have Saturn in the 5th house of romance. This is your natural house. So, some of you may be feeling more serious about finding a partner, somebody that you can, share the rest of your lives with. Maybe in the past you were content to having affairs, because the 5th house are love affairs or the beginning stages of love, so it doesn't mean that it's going to last. But with Saturn there, you may be getting a lot more serious. You may be getting a lot more ambitious to find somebody that will, be there for the long haul. Saturn tends to really ground us, really make us disciplined, make us organized, and not willing to be frivolous. And so this can be very significant since it is your natural house. If you're an artist, it can make you that much more determined to do your artistry, and it can also, make you more disciplined to do it, and maybe organized. Maybe you are one of those people that does things in spurts. Maybe you'll be more consistent in your work. So that's very good, actually. Now, it's very interesting because as the year begins, you're going to have Mars in your 7th house of committed partnership. So for those who are married or in a live-in situation, engaged, something that you're committed with a partner, you may find that there is more contention or some conflict that's happening. And so I just tell you that so that you don't freak out and that you realize that this too shall pass. Make sure that you're not the one that's instigating anything, that you're not being overly aggressive, and as a fixed sign, that you're not being uncooperative, that you are trying to get along with the other person and not making unreasonable demands and not being argumentative. You're going to have Mars in your sign, Leo, from July 21st until the 5th of September. So this is a time when you will start to feel much more energized. When Mars enters your sign, it is telling you that it has been in the 12th house before this. So when it's in Cancer, the sign prior to your sign, it will have been in the house prior to the 1st house, which is the 12th house. And that is, because Mars is one of the personal planets, the tendency will always be that it will be rather close to your sun sign. And, it doesn't necessarily always dovetail exactly. But in this particular case, it will be because it's starting on July 21st. And that means that the sun will likewise the sun will be entering your 1st house also around that time. And so when you have planets in the 12th house, you're going to have a lot of fatigue and feeling like you're almost in hibernation, even though it's in the middle of the summer, in the northern hemisphere at least. Maybe in the southern hemisphere, you will feel like that naturally as well, in a more natural way. But when you have planets in the 12th house, your energy may be sapped. And so you're going to start to come alive come July 21st, and that will take you into September when you will have more energy at your disposal. Venus will be in your sign from August 27th until September 19th, and that can be a period of time when you seem more charismatic, when you seem more just alluring, it can make you, it can give you a favorable impression that you make on other people. So that's very good for anything that you do, whether you're trying to meet somebody or whether you are trying to gain employment or anything like that. So that's something that you can use to benefit you in terms of your image. And let's see if there's going to be anything else in Leo. Well, you do have your new moon, and that occurs on August 21st. So that is your birthday new moon. So set your intentions for the upcoming 12 months. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about Neptune and Chiron, both in Pisces. With Chiron, this will be until April of 2018. With Neptune, it will be longer. I think I just saw it, and it was 2025, which is a long time. It entered Pisces in 2011. So if you think back to that time period, you can see if your life shifted in any way. Neptune in the 8th house is interesting because the 8th house is Scorpio's natural house, and it deals with issues surrounding death, sex and other people's money, intimacy. So it could be on the emotional level. It doesn't have to be sexual. And it can deal with metaphysics, the meaning of life. With Neptune there, I think that some Leos may be uncharacteristically searching for, I don't even know if searching is the proper word. I mean, it could be having experiences of a mystical nature. And it may be totally out of character for you, because I don't associate Leo with these sort of things. Leo is a sign that is a great business person, as well as a leader, a natural leader, and an entertainer. But the mystical part of things, I don't associate with it. However, I believe that there are, and there have been, there was a famous astrologer who was a Leo. And there are mystics who are Leos, just like there are mystics of other signs. No sign is, has sewn up the title of the mystical sign of the zodiac. All signs can possess this. All people can possess this. But for Leo, because you are a fire sign, and just by the nature of what you represent, I think of you more in terms of a very active and person of the world, person who is really connected to this world, and usually very geared towards success in this world. So Neptune can make you more contemplative and thoughtful about these issues, but also more intuitive. And you can even have, experiences, especially if you are more attuned to the psychic realms, I guess you'd say realms already, that you may have contact with people who have crossed over. And this can also affect you in terms of relationships. You may be a little bit confused about, about intimacy. You may not know exactly what to do. You may feel like you can't relate. Maybe in the past you were trying to connect with people, and now it feels even more difficult. But I think that, and this also relates to sexuality, that there may be this sense of, maybe it becomes something more meaningful to you, more spiritual. That's always a possibility. But I think that the highest expression of it would be something where you gained intuitively in your life, you gain this sense of being connected in that way. And then Chiron, I think that, because Chiron deals with pain, and that this is a transiting influence, but it can really bring up issues of intimacy for you. And so maybe things come up, and because I feel Chiron is karmic, there may be these karmic instances where you're forced to kind of face whatever it is that the 8th house brings to you. So whether it is a death, whether it is the idea of sexuality in the context of your life, because I always think that Leo is one of the most highly sex signs. I mean, I'll just say 2 words to you: Mick Jagger, who just had his 8th child. So, end of discussion. That kind of thing. And there may be ulterior motives for that sort of connection with sexuality. It might be, for some Leos, a way to feel admiration, to feel attention being given to them. For some, it may be simply, like gratification of the ego. But in the 8th house, with Chiron there and with Neptune there, it can, maybe dredge things up that you have not wanted to deal with that relate to sexuality and possibly death. But it can also heal them in this transiting influence. So it's very interesting that that is happening. And as I say, it's not going to be there, at least Chiron, it's only going to be there for a couple more years. But it is a very kind of a serious, there's some themes of being more serious for Leo. And you have Uranus in the 9th house. That is Sagittarius' natural house. This is the house of religion and higher education and publishing. I really feel that if you're a writer, you should start to put things on paper, because you have Jupiter in the 3rd house. Jupiter is the planet of luck and expansion. It is a natural ruler of the 9th house. So it is transiting the 3rd house for you until October of 2017, when it goes into your 4th house of home and family. But until then, for the first 10 months of the year, in that 3rd house, it could be very lucky for people who are expressing themselves, who are writers. Maybe it's not a novel, maybe it's a blog, but whatever it is, and it could be teaching. But the 9th house is definitely teaching as well, on the university level at least. But with Uranus in the 9th house, it could be some sudden publishing effort that just goes ballistic. I mean, I was going to say goes viral, but not necessarily electronically, although if it's an ebook and you're publishing it electronically, it could do it on that level, I suppose. But Uranus is very erratic and unpredictable. It can mean that some creative output that is of a literary nature just really takes off. It can also mean that you get involved with some kind of I was going to say a cult, that's not what I mean, some unusual spiritual group. And as I say, with these transits to the 8th house, that might really be some kind of a metaphysical group or an occult organization, which is kind of like not necessarily organized religion. It's kind of far out, and that might be something that really appeals to you during this time period. So Jupiter in that 3rd house can also, I feel like that could even be, if you do move, it could mean that you move to an area that really resonates with you, that you feel like you have expanded, that your world has opened up. And then when it goes into the 4th house in October, that is very good for real estate. It's very good for your family of origin, any kind of issues. But, even like financially, it can be beneficial for real estate housing. Let me see what else is going on here. I think I told you, I said that your new moon is on August 21st. Venus goes into one of the houses that it rules, the second house of earned income, on September 20th, which happens to be the date that the new moon in Virgo is. So that might be a very significant time for your money, Leo, the 20th of September. And Venus will be in this second house of earned income until the 14th. Venus rules the second house as well as the seventh house of committed partnerships. But in the second house especially, it can be very good. It can be good for money in any house, but the second house is a money house, so that makes it even more so the case. So I just wanted to tell you about that. And then you do have a new beginning in this house on September 20th, so that can be very good for you as well. And did I tell you about your 10th house? Okay, well, I don't think that I did. For you, this is going to be on April 26th at 6 degrees of Taurus. So that could be a new beginning in your career, Leo, in some way. You know, you may start a new one. You may have a promotion. Whatever it is, it could be something bigger and better than you have had in the past. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Leo, and good luck to you in 2017. Bye.